Hey, it's Sarah. I'm really glad that you're back tonight. And as always, think of my voice as a lantern in the dark, just lighting up the next few steps so you feel a little bit less alone. And I'm not here to fix anything, and I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to feel or how to get to the other side of whatever it is you're carrying right now. I'm just here. And I want to ask you something gentle, if that's okay. How long have you been holding it together? Not today, not this week. I mean, how long really have you been the one who holds it? The one who keeps the wheels turning and the people steady and the house functioning and the feelings managed and the face arranged into something that says, I'm fine. I've got this. Don't worry about me. How long have you been the last one standing at the end of the day, alone with everything you didn't let anyone else see? So there's a particular kind of tired that doesn't show up in your body the way that regular tired does. It doesn't live in your eyes or your muscles or your sleep schedule. It lives somewhere so much deeper than that. It's the tired that comes from being the strong one for so long that you can't remember what it felt like not to be. And the tired that comes from holding everyone else's pieces together while quietly hoping nobody notices that some of yours are on the floor. And we don't have a good word for this kind of tired. We call it burnout. We call it stress. We call it being overwhelmed. But those words are too small for what this actually is. This is the weight of a life spent being reliable for everyone else while being quietly and privately unavailable to yourself. You've been so busy holding it together that you forgot to ask whether any of it was yours to hold. And I want to be honest with you about what this costs. Not to make you feel worse, because I think you already know. I think you've known for a while, and I think part of you has been waiting for someone to just say it out loud. And that's why I'm here. It costs you your own feelings. Because when you're the one holding everyone else's, there isn't room for yours. So you put them somewhere. You compress them into something manageable. You file them for later, but later never comes. And it costs you your own needs, because somewhere along the way, you learned that having needs was a burden, that asking for help was weakness, and that the safest version of you was the one who needed the least. And it costs you the experience of being held, because if you're the one always holding, you never get to know what it feels like to put it down, to let someone else carry it for a minute, to just rest inside someone else's steadiness for once, to just allow yourself to be held. You have never been too much. You have been too alone and carrying too much for too long. And I don't know exactly what you're carrying tonight. I don't know if it's a relationship or a loss or a decision you can't make or a life that looks fine from the outside and feels like something else entirely from where you're standing inside of it. But I do know some things about you. I know you've been stronger than you should have had to be. And I know that you've shown up for people in ways that weren't always reciprocated. And I know you've had moments late at night or in the car or in the shower where something in you just wanted to stop holding it all so tightly, just for a minute, just long enough to breathe. And I know that even in those moments, you pulled yourself back together, because that's what you do. Because people are counting on you, because the alternative felt too uncertain or too vulnerable or too much like letting go of the only thing keeping everything from falling apart. But what if the holding together was never the whole of what you were built for? So I want to give you something tonight, not advice, not a strategy, just permission. I want to give you permission to be tired. And I don't mean productively tired. Not tired in a way that leads somewhere useful, just tired. The plain, simple, human kind that doesn't need to be fixed or optimized or turned into a lesson. And I want to give you permission to not hold it together perfectly tonight, to let something be a little bit undone, to leave one thing for tomorrow that you would normally push through tonight because you can't stand the feeling of it sitting there unfinished. And I want to give you permission to feel whatever is actually underneath the holding. The grief, maybe, the anger, possibly, the quiet longing for someone to just, see how hard you're working. And for that person to say, I've got it from here, rest. You are allowed to need that. And you are allowed to want that. Needing to be held doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It makes you someone who has been giving for so long that your own cup has been running on the residue at the bottom, and some part of you has been quietly rationing it for years without telling anyone. Strength was never supposed to mean you carry it alone forever. That's not strength. That's just loneliness with better posture. So I don't know what tonight holds for you after this. I don't know if you're going to cry or just sit with it or fall asleep with it, resting a little lighter on your chest than it did before. But I want you to know something. The fact that you've held it together for this long isn't proof that you didn't need help. It's proof that you are extraordinarily capable of surviving without it. But those are two completely different things. You survived. That is real, and it mattered. And surviving is not the ceiling of what's available to you. It is not the end-all, be-all. You are allowed to want more than survival. You are allowed to want ease, softness, security, a life where the weight is shared with other people instead of held entirely by you. You are allowed to feel and be held. And you are allowed to put some of it down, even just for tonight. Just one thing, the one you've been gripping the tightest. See what happens when you loosen your hand just slightly around it. The world will probably keep turning, and you might find that your hands, finally a little more open, are able to receive something you've been too full of holding on to let in. So I'm going to leave the lantern right here next to you. You don't have to hold that either. It'll keep burning on its own. And I'll be back Saturday night to sit with you once again.